Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a huge challenge, one that I think a lot of us are feeling. How do you find your way when the old maps, political parties, ideologies, all the certainties you grew up with, just don't seem to describe the world we're actually living in? So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of it. Have you ever had that nagging feeling that the frameworks you've been given, the ways you were taught to see things, are just failing? Like they're not quite fitting anymore? Well, the simple answer is you're right. That map is outdated. We're all kind of living through this moment where the ground itself has shifted under our feet, but we're still trying to use these old, crumpled instructions. It's like the world has just outgrown the boxes we keep trying to stuff it into. Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea. We're going to explore exactly why these old maps, these simple labels like left and right, or these rigid belief systems, are just collapsing under the weight of how complex our world has become. Now, the sources we're looking at have this fantastic term for a key part of the problem: performative coherence. Think about it. It's that feeling when you're part of a group and you pretend to agree with 100% of their ideas, even though deep down you're maybe at, 50%? You perform this coherence just to belong, but man, it leaves you feeling exhausted and kind of split in two. And here's what happens because of that performance. First, these old labels, they force you to squash all your nuanced, complex beliefs into one simple, flat identity. This creates what's called a false consensus, where it looks like everyone's on the same page, but only because the social cost of disagreeing is just way too high. And that last point, that's the real kicker. It leads to this strange kind of burnout, not from fighting with the other side, but from the exhausting work of pretending to be someone you're not, inside your own. But here's the thing. The landscape isn't just changing on its own. As we're about to see, there's a new, incredibly powerful force that's actively reshaping it, and a lot of the time, we don't even see it happening. And that force is artificial intelligence. Now, to really get a handle on AI's influence, we need this key concept: infrastructural power. This isn't your typical kind of power, like a government passing a law. No, it's more subtle. It's like building the roads and bridges of a city, which then determines where people live and work for decades. It shapes what you do by making some things easy and other things hard, all without ever giving you a direct order. So how does this work in practice? Well, first, and this one is absolutely fundamental, AI governs your attention. The algorithms that power your social feeds, your search results, they are making millions of choices a second about what you get to see and what stays completely invisible to you. They are literally constructing your reality. Second, this power quietly starts to structure opportunity in the real world. AI systems are now used to screen job applications, to figure out who gets a loan, to flag suspicious people. They are shaping huge life outcomes, and a lot of the time, they're doing it based on these black box models that might just be repeating the biases of the past. And third, when you take shaping attention and shaping opportunity and you do it at a global scale, what do you get? You get the power to shape what society considers normal. AI starts to influence which opinions feel acceptable and even what kind of future feels possible. It's this soft, invisible control that works just by making certain choices feel more natural than others. Okay, so we're in this new territory, and it's being shaped by these invisible forces. We're going to need a new survival skill. And according to our sources, that skill is all about understanding the true nature of conflict. This is such a critical distinction. On one side, you have essential conflict. This stuff comes from real, genuine differences in what we value. It's actually the productive kind of friction that helps us grow. But then you have accidental conflict. This is just waste. It's the arguments that come from misunderstandings, and all they do is burn up our energy without teaching us anything. The goal isn't to get rid of conflict entirely. It's to get rid of the accidental, wasteful kind. And this is the whole point. We have to completely reframe how we think about disagreement. Conflict isn't some bug in the system that we need to patch. It's a feature. It's a sign that something important is at stake. The problem isn't that we disagree, it's that we've totally forgotten how to handle our important disagreements well. So all of this brings us to the core solution that's being proposed. If the map is useless, just stop looking for a new one. It's time to stop looking outside yourself for answers and instead build a personal compass. A map, which is like an ideology, it promises you a final destination. It tells you it has all the answers before you even ask the questions. But a compass, an orientation, that's totally different. It doesn't give you a destination, it just gives you a direction. North is still north even when the trail disappears. And look at that shift in the question it asks. It's not which side are you on, it's what really matters in this situation. So, how do you actually build this thing? Well, it's not some vague, abstract idea. It breaks down into three really practical steps. First, figure out what you will truly defend, the values you'll stand up for even when it gets hard. Second, be honest about the trade offs. You can't have everything at once, so what are you willing to give up to protect what you value most? And third, practice. Make changing your mind an intentional act, not just something that happens to you. All right, so what does it actually look like to live like this? To move through the world with a personal compass instead of some pre-printed map? Well, living this way isn't about finding some new, perfect ideology to replace the old one. No, it's a commitment to a practice, something you do every day. It means accepting that some fights don't have a clean resolution, and that's okay. It means you can change your beliefs without feeling like you've lost your entire identity. And maybe most importantly, it shifts your goal from trying to always be right, which is impossible, to the much more honest work of just trying to be accountable. And this really brings us to the ultimate choice we all have to make. Because AI is already shaping our future. That's not up for debate. The real question is, are we going to let it become this invisible authority that just quietly makes our decisions for us? Or are we going to build the personal compasses we need to turn it into a visible mirror, something that shows us our own patterns and forces the most important judgments back to us? The choice, at the end of the day, isn't a technical one. It's a moral one.